This section deals with units of volume, and those are cubic yards, cubic feet, and cubic inches in the English system. Notice all of them have the word cubic in front of them because they represent a unit of volume. And volume is the amount of space inside an object, or the amount of space taken up by a three-dimensional object. For a cube is simply a square, a three-dimensional square. So every face is a square, every side of the cube is a square, and it's basically a perfect square box. This example that I have here, I have a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot square box, and the formula for the volume of a cube is s cubed, s raised to the third power. And so, since my length is 1 foot, the side is 1 foot, 1 foot cubed is equal to 1 foot times 1 foot times 1 foot, which is 1 cubic foot. Okay, so what you're looking at over here, this box has a volume of 1 cubic feet, or 1 cubic foot. When we want to convert to cubic inches, you want to know how many cubic inches there are in this cubic foot? What we can do is we can take 1 cubic foot right here, and we can write it as simply 1 times a foot times a foot times a foot. And since we know that a foot is equal to 12 inches, we can write that 12 inches 3 times here. And now I want to multiply this all out. When I multiply it all out, I multiply the numbers first. I get 1728. And inch times inch times inch is cubic inch. So what we have here then is 1 cubic foot, right? We have a unit fraction. We have 1 cubic foot is equal to 1,728 cubic inches, and another unit fraction is 1,728 cubic inches over 1 cubic foot. Each one of these fractions is equal to 1. That's why it's called a unit fraction, because the quantity on top and the quantity on bottom of the fraction both represent the same quantity. Now let's convert from something a little bit larger. Let's start with a cubic yard, and we want to convert that first to cubic feet. Let's do that. And here's your picture over here. Notice that I've broken up that side of the cube, which is 3 feet, broken it up into 1 foot intervals. And we know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we have 3 feet on every dimension of this cube. And we wind up with 1 cubic yard is, of course, the volume. But we also know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we have 1 cubic yard is equal to 1 times a yard times a yard times a yard. That's cubic yard. And now we replace the yard with 3 feet. Multiply my numbers out together. I now have feet times feet times feet, which is cubic feet. So I wind up with 27 cubic feet. So what I wind up with is 1 cubic yard, wind up with this unit fraction. 1 cubic yard is equal to 27 cubic feet. And of course, 27 cubic feet is equal to 1 cubic yard. These, once again, are unit fractions. And we're going to use these, we're going to use one form of the fraction or another when we convert from one unit to another. Let's take a look at some examples on how we actually do this. Here are some examples. You can actually pause the video now if you want to write these down and try to do them on your own. What we want to do is convert from the given units to the desired one using the unit fraction method. So I've got 3 different problems here. I want to, first one is from cubic yards to cubic feet. Then I want to go from cubic feet to cubic yards. And the last one is to go from cubic yards to cubic inches. Okay? So if you want to pause your video, write the 3 problems down, and see if you can figure these out, get the proper answer. Okay. Continuing on with the answers now, the first example was 50 cubic yards to cubic feet. What I start with is 50 cubic yards, and I'm going to use the unit fraction 27 cubic feet per every 1 cubic yard. I'm using this one because I want to be able to cancel out the cubic yards, and I can only cancel from a numerator to a denominator. So therefore, cubic yards has been removed, and I wind up with 50 times 27, which is 1,350 cubic feet. That's the first one. Next one, it's the reverse. I want to go from cubic feet to cubic yards. So I start with my 4,500 cubic feet. This time, notice what I did. I used the unit fraction 1 cubic yard for every 27 cubic feet. I used that one because I want to be able to get rid of the cubic feet. They cancel from numerator and denominator, and I'm left with cubic yards. This time I don't multiply. I take 4,500, and I have to, I say I didn't figure this out. 4,500 divided by 27, and that's how many yards I'd actually have. That turns out to be 166.7 cubic yards to the nearest tenth of a yard. If we wanted it to the nearest whole yard, it would be 167 cubic yards. The third problem has us converting from cubic yards to cubic inches, and I don't believe we actually have a unit fraction for that. I know that we do have, though, a unit fraction when I convert from cubic yards to cubic feet. I know I have that, and I also have a unit fraction for converting from cubic feet to cubic inches. So let's use those in succession and see if we can come up with the final answer. Well, we start with 4.5 cubic yards. First thing I want to do is convert to cubic feet. Okay. The yards cancel, cubic yards cancel. I'm not going to do the math now. I'm just going to leave the numbers there, but you can see the units that is left is cubic feet. So now I have cubic feet, and now I want to convert into cubic inches. So I use my unit fraction 1,728 cubic inches for every 1 cubic foot. Notice now the feet, cubic feet, cancel. And what am I left with? I'm left with cubic inches. Okay? Do the math. 4.5 multiplied by 27 multiplied by 1,728, and I wind up with 209,952 cubic inches. Working with volume, cubic yards, cubic feet, cubic inches, it's not that difficult a concept.